Welcome back. Next up, we have top security awareness trainer and cybersecurity expert, CEO of WinStar Technologies, and author of The Threat is Real, David Groot, talking about the new breed of cybercriminals and what you can do to protect your business from lost profits, from irreparable reputation damage, and from being held hostage.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the second annual Small Business Tech Day of Virginia. Wow, we've heard some really great stuff from Mike and Adam, and now I want to share some stuff about the new breed of cybercriminal and what you can do to protect your business from losing profits, being held hostage, and causing irreparable reputation damage. In the next 45 minutes, you'll discover the most dangerous lie that you might believe that's putting your organization at risk. You'll discover the true costs of a cyber attack that go far beyond paying the ransomware. And you'll discover how AI has emboldened cybercriminals and what you can do to protect your company. And you'll discover a disturbing fact that might keep you awake at night, but you need to be made aware of. I'm Dave Groot, husband, father, and grandfather. I'm the president and chief security officer of WinStar Technologies, the author of The Threat is Real and How to Protect You and Your Family from the Global Threat of Cybercrime. I'm also a public speaker and trainer on cybersecurity and compliance, and I've been doing cyber since 2004. This isn't about me, though. This is about you. So let's get started. Let's talk about the most dangerous lie. And that is, my business is too small for cybercriminals to care about. The facts are, small businesses are more likely to be attacked than large. 1 in 5 small businesses will fall victim to cybercrime each year, and that number continues to grow. Each and every day, you see news stories, or you watch on TV a new story about a small business being attacked by an organized cybercrime, or nation states who are highly motivated and highly funded and want to really just ruin our way of life. The facts are, victims of data breaches in the first half of 2023 have increased 152% over the first half of 2022. That means we went from 62 million to 156.6 million victims just in the first half of 2023. Another fact is, over 60% of small businesses who are breached will go out of business completely within 12 months after that incident. This is done oftentimes by what we refer to as drive-by hackers. And in some cases, your business may not be their main target. It may be somebody upstream, a larger company, maybe one of your vendors or your clients. But what they're going to do is they're going to come into your network. They're going to tear your stuff up. They're going to breach your data. They're going to encrypt it, and they're going to hold you hostage. And then they're going to leave you holding the bag entirely. Let's talk about the true costs of a cyber attack. In many cases, ransomware being the biggest form of cyber attack, we know the paying of the ransom is certainly a big part of that cost of a cyber attack in our business. But it goes much further than just that monetary value. What about lost production. Let's just think about that for a moment. Take your annual salary, not your salary, but all the salary that you pay to your team, your entire staff for the whole year, and divide that by 2,080, which is how many hours in a year that they can work. And that'll give you an hourly cost that basically is lost production in the very least of ways, right? We're just talking payroll right now. Multiply that times 8 for an 8-hour day, and then let's look at, let's say, times 10 for 2 business weeks of no production and yet still needing to pay my team. Okay, so in the beginning of the ransomware kind of stuff, when we had baby hackers, they would start out by just asking for, say, $5,000 in Bitcoin for that ransom attack. But today, because we have a new breed of cyber criminal, what you have is a new type of hacker that has a sliding scale for their ransomware. And what that means is they're going to infiltrate your network, and then they're going to dig around. They're going to find out what it is you got going on, how much you have in the bank, do you have cyber insurance, and what will that policy pay? And based on that information, instead of $5,000, they're going to slide that up to whatever they think they can really get from you. So we're going to add that to the lost production. Now, what about the lost sales? How can you do any business with your clients if all your data is locked up and encrypted? Now, look, the first thing that's going to take place when you get breached is your cyber insurance company, hoping you have some, is going to show up with their forensic team. And they're going to lock your office down, and they're going to need to collect evidence. And so it could be days, it could be weeks before they're finished, which means not only do you have lost productivity, right? You got people sitting around, they can't do any work, but now they can't even use their computers because those are being tied up, and we need to maintain chain of custody. We need to know that nothing's changed since the breach so that we can determine how that happened, because, oh, by the way, what we want to do is determine if we're going to pay the claim, and if you did anything wrong that may have resulted in that breach. And so a fact is, many insurance companies really don't even offer cyber insurance anymore because of the cost of these claims rising so rapidly. 51% of all cyber insurance claims are either denied or underfunded, meaning not enough money to pay for all the things you need to get worked on to get back in business. That's restoring data, paying for client monitoring of their credit, and making sure their identity hasn't been stolen. A fact is, unless you follow all the recommendations of your cyber insurance company, and unless you're enforcing all the things that you've stated on your cyber insurance application, in the time of an incident when you need those folks the most, if they can prove you didn't do any of those things, or that there's things you were supposed to have done and did not, they will then deny that claim, surely. As I mentioned, the first thing that's going to happen is their forensics team's going to come and lock down your equipment, right? So we take our lost production, we take our lost sales, and then we take the ransom, and the last thing we're going to talk about is the cost of your reputation, right? I can't really put a dollar value to that. It's hard to do, but think about all the time you've spent building your company's brand and your company's reputation and making sure that it represents your values, and it's an image of you. And that's all of a sudden gone and destroyed because some hacker came in and breached your data and took that client information and posted it on the dark web for sale. And you get to now call those folks who you've done business with for a long time and explain to them how that happened and how you're going to now need to make sure that they get credit monitoring so that their identity isn't stolen, and hopefully no problems will take place. Let me tell you a story. True story about a dentist. His office was breached. All of his patient records were compromised, right? And so this was obviously a violation of the HIPAA compliance framework, which is what dentists fall under. That's one of the frameworks that they would need to meet. And as a result of this resulted in a federal government response. And can you say FBI, right? So I've already described the forensic team from the cyber insurance company coming over to the office. Now we have the FBI pounding on the door, and they're going through all your stuff, asking you all these questions. Again, lost production, lost patients. They're not coming in right now because the FBI is sitting in the chair, not the patients. And that's a bad day. It's a really bad day. The fact is, in most states, you're required to notify everybody in your database when your network has been breached and their data's been sold on the dark web. And in many cases, as I've already mentioned, you're also required to provide credit monitoring to make sure that their identity is not stolen. What does that do for your reputation? Does that build trust? That's a kind of a huge black eye for your company, right? You get a couple of calls from irate customers. You get to explain best you can how that happened. You have a bit of bad press. That's not a great day. And oh, your competitors are having a field day. Boy, they're circling overhead. They're just plucking away anybody who's walking out of your business. That could be team members, staff, and clients. Let me tell you about another story about a law firm whose client records were compromised because they weren't following the proper cybersecurity controls. This was a highly reputable law firm, right? And so they had to go explain not only to their clients, but to their peers, right? To opposing counsel. Can you imagine that? And to the courts that they were breached and their client stuff was gone and they couldn't continue any cases because they couldn't really tell what was going on. They were done. And the loss of trust was devastating. And I mean, we're talking minimum 2 weeks. I think it was probably closer to a full month before 100% restored business activity. So just review again what we went through really quickly to cover the costs of that ransomware attack. We have that sliding ransomware scale. Then we have the lost production and our salary. And then we have lost sales and then reputation. And then potentially, above all that, you could come up with things like, we're talking already the embarrassment of having to see your peers in the club or somewhere at the ball game and kind of feeling a little stupid or irresponsible, potentially losing clients for, losing their data, and then class action and individual lawsuits and legal fees to handle all that. And if you're under a compliance framework, then there's potential fines that could come along with that as well. And then the replacement of your data, right? The stuff that gets encrypted by these hackers, that's what this ransom is all about to begin with. I mean, there's no guarantee that when you get the decryption key, that when you decrypt your data, it isn't corrupted and potentially unusable to begin with, right? So nothing's a guarantee. That just kind of starts to talk about the true cost of a cyber attack. Let's talk about the impact of AI and how that's emboldened cyber criminals and how it's impacted cybersecurity in general. You've seen the pictures online of the Pope, right, wearing bling, puffy jacket, the deep fake. Let me tell you a story. It's not so funny about a deep fake. A mother got a phone call from her daughter, or at least she thought it was, telling her that she had been kidnapped and that her mom needed to pay ransom to save her and get her away from the kidnappers. But the problem was this was a conversation taking place by an AI engine that had taken a snippet of a conversation of this girl and took her voice and the cadence of her voice and then was able to replicate basically in a realistic way enough to convince her mother that it was her and that she had been kidnapped under duress and needed help. I mean, can you just wrap your head around that? AI changes the game when it comes to that, right? How about phishing? Phishing, business email compromise is the biggest way into your network. And that means people get emails in your business with links enticing them to do something, some call to action, click a link, change a password, open an attachment, and then the hacker gets into your network, right? That's one of the biggest ways that happens. And look, back in the days of saving the Nigerian prince, we were able to kind of see that email and read it and know that that's really not the way we would say that, or that doesn't sound like Sally or Jack, or we could see. But today, with AI and bolding these cyber criminals, they're able to write phishing emails that are like super realistic, undetectable to the human eye, as well as even to our tool sets, right? The spam filters and the things that are supposed to detect these types of things can't always even pick up on that, because AI is so good at formulating an email message that looks authentic, culturally correct. We had an AI expert who took some passwords that were from the dark web that were encrypted and got the AI engine, asked it to see if it could decrypt the passwords, right, so that it could understand what those were. And it did. It decrypted encrypted passwords. Drive-by websites, infected websites from legitimate companies. I mean, big companies, lots of money, security. AI has now made it so that they can get infected, and as you go to the website and open it into your browser, it can bring malware in, giving that threat actor access to your network, to your data, to your assets, right? Texting. Whew. We now are getting an onslaught of SMS messages that look very real and with calls to action of very highly emotional, hey, here's a gift card, or pay this fine, or you're being charged for X, Y, Z. Look, undoubtedly, the cyber criminals have many, many, many more ways to attack us, especially when you bring AI into the picture. A scary fact is that the new breed of cyber criminal will infiltrate your network. They'll not do anything. They'll sit around for weeks, moving around very quietly, just checking things out, waiting for that ideal time, right? And once they got it all ready, they've done everything they want to do, then they'll drop that time bomb, and boom, ransomware goes and they leave. And so I want to ask you a question. Are you 100% certain that your network isn't already infiltrated? Robert Mueller, former director of the FBI, says there's only two types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that will be hacked. So what can you do to protect yourself and your business? The three pillars of cybersecurity are to protect, then to detect, and then to respond. Let's begin with protect. We want to protect our network and our data assets, in many cases, so that we can make ourselves less attractive to the cyber criminals. Yep, less attractive. What do I mean by that? Well, so the business of being a cyber criminal in many cases is an automated process to some extent, meaning they'll start by running scripts across the internet to find potential vulnerabilities, or maybe a specific set of configurations or settings or things that they're looking to target. And so when they find those things with these automated processes, meaning it's not human interaction, everybody's just poking around, I like this business, I want this business. No, it's just let's spray and see what we get, right? And so when they get you, they find that vulnerability. The idea is if we can put enough controls in place and make ourselves less attractive, and frankly, hackers are in many cases quite lazy, they'll just move on to the next target. So there's protecting. Now, that doesn't sound like the best stance of, hey, my cybersecurity plan is we're protecting. It used to be the stance, but it can't be anymore today. Today, we need to bring in things like detection, right? So the truth is, if a sophisticated enough cybercriminal wants to infiltrate your network, they will. And so detection becomes a very critical piece of your cybersecurity. And when it comes to detection, rapid fire or early detection is critical, meaning time is everything. We can't give these folks minutes, hours, and days. We need to know inside of seconds that something's taking place that isn't correct or isn't normal or is indeed known to be malicious. And in that case, we need to then shut those folks down as quickly as we can. If an IT company or if your internal department is telling you that they're preventing this from happening, if they're preventing you from being hacked, they're just not telling you the truth. That's why here at WinStar Technologies, we continue to invest in the most up-to-date, powerful detection technology available. We provide rapid response because we know early detection means we can potentially stop the threat in its tracks and in many cases eliminate negative consequences. If we can find the root of the problem and we can isolate that endpoint and we can lock it down and stop movement, we minimize the attack surface and we can eliminate a lot of that negative consequence. All right, so far you've discovered the most dangerous lie that you might have believed that's putting you and your organization at risk. You've also discovered the true cost of the cyber attack and how it goes far beyond that monetary expense of the ransom. We also then discussed how AI has really changed the game, creating a new breed of cybercriminal and emboldening them with many more ways of attacking. And we discussed why detection is so important in protecting your business. Here's the bottom line. If and when your business falls victim to a cyber attack, you're gonna be blamed. It will land on your desk. There's not gonna be any sympathy for hacked businesses, and you will be wrongly labeled irresponsible or stupid. When your business falls victim to a cyber attack, you're gonna be questioned. You're gonna be investigated about what you did or did not do to prevent that cyber attack from happening. You're gonna need to notify clients that you exposed their data, you lost their files, and the projects you were working on are stopped. If the news or the competitors get a hold of this, they're having a heyday with you. They're destroying your reputation, they're taking your clients, possibly even your best talent. The cost for restoring data alone can skyrocket quickly. But, look, I need you to understand this one thing, right? While the new breed of cybercriminal is and has become far more sophisticated, so are we. You can protect yourself from being a victim of cybercrime. Let's talk about managing your risk and how you can protect your organization from being the next victim of cybercrime. Step one is to have an independent third-party risk analysis performed. This is going to help you to know what's lacking in your security right now. Are your systems truly backed up? Would an insurance claim be paid? Are you even able to get cyber insurance? You don't want your internal IT department or your current service provider performing this analysis. You do not want them to proofread their own work. Once this risk analysis is performed, you need to then create an action plan and then implement it. One step at a time. Start now. Don't wait. And then maintain the systems that you put in place. Meaning, yes, ongoing maintenance of patching your systems and making sure updates are performed, but more importantly, make sure the things that you put in control, that you implement with your action plan, are consistently working. Check on a quarterly or a semi-annual basis. Understand that those things are still the way you left them and intended them to be. My first gift today to you is the independent third-party cybersecurity risk analysis. Now, this is not for you if you're a one-person business or venture. It's also not for you if you fear putting your current cybersecurity company or IT department to the test. It's especially not for you if you don't feel protecting your business from the new breed of cybercriminal is a priority. But look, don't say that I did not warn you. Look, the third-party cyber risk analysis begins with a 15-minute phone call. We spend a few minutes discussing your current practices, your current maturity level in cybersecurity, and then we perform that risk analysis. And at the very end of that 15-minute phone call, we'll schedule a follow-up a week later where we can then go over a report of findings from our analysis and an action plan to help remediate the things we do find. Once this risk analysis is done, you will know if your cyber insurance claim will be denied. You will know your insurability. We will provide you a cyber insurability score. You will know if your systems are truly backed up and can be restored in the event of a ransomware attack. The good news is that the first step, a $5,000 value, is free. To schedule that 15-minute call, I need you to go to www.threatisreal.com. And after that risk analysis is done, you will be able to make one of three decisions. A, you'll do nothing, and you'll hope everything's going to be okay. B, you'll take our findings and our action plan and then get another cybersecurity company to help you implement that. And C, you'll discuss working with us and having us help with the action plan and implementation. Three things that you definitely want to know. First and foremost, no obligation to buy or do anything after this risk analysis is complete. I really want to just take care of that part of it for you for free. No obligation. Remember, the first call is 15 minutes. The second call, an hour. There's no reason that I can give you to, schedule now because there's a limited supply or the price goes up. This is a gift, but it's very important. I need you to do this now by going to www.threatisreal.com so that you can sleep well at night with complete confidence that your organization is protected from this new breed of cyber criminals. Again, to schedule your 15-minute initial call, go to www.threatisreal.com. Look, in addition to this no-cost cyber risk analysis, I want to send you back with a few other things. I've got a free report on how to create hacker-proof passwords. I also have a free report on how to make sure your technology is running like a Ferrari and not a Fiat. And then the best and last gift is a weekly cybersecurity tip. All of these things for you are $9,000 in value, and today, for being here at our second annual Small Business Tech Day of Virginia, completely free. To schedule that initial cyber risk analysis, go to www.threatisreal.com. Now look, don't put this off. I know how easy it is. Put your head in the sand, forget about it. It's not going to hit you. Your business is too small. Cybercriminals don't care. I'm telling you, you need to do this. What you need to do is spend 15 minutes on the phone answering a few questions. We go through a risk analysis. We're done. We book a call, another hour on the phone, and you know where you stand and what you need to do to be ready and protect your organization. www.threatisreal.com. Questions I always get asked that you might have. Will my current IT company know that you're running a risk analysis? And the answer is, I hope so. If they have the proper controls in place, and if they're doing the right things, there should be some alarms and some bells going off when we run the risk analysis that might cause them to reach you and ask if everything's okay. I can assure you of this though, if they're doing what you're paying them to do, then they want you to run this risk analysis so that they can see what might need still doing. You owe it to yourself, to your employees, and to your clients to ensure that you are indeed protected. A fact is, our cybersecurity risk analysis is going to help you sleep at night. How much is this going to cost after the risk analysis? And the answer to that is, look, it might not cost you anything if we don't find any problems. The investment to secure your network depends on the complexity of the problems and of your network that we find in the risk analysis. And once we do that, I'll be able to tell you what that investment looks like. The fact is, cybersecurity doesn't have to break the bank, but the new breed of cybercriminal can. So why am I doing the risk analysis for free? Well, first off, there is no catch. And yes, we would definitely love to earn your business, but there's no obligation, no pressure to work with us, right? My mission is to ensure that all Virginia businesses don't become victims of cybercrime. Simply that. Here's everything you're going to receive. You're going to get a $5,000 value cyber risk analysis. You're going to get the report on the hacker-proof passwords, the report on making your technology run like a Ferrari and not a Fiat, and the cybersecurity tips of the week, again, for a total value of just under $9,200, all for nothing, just for being here today. So what do you need to do? Please go to www.threatisreal.com to schedule your 15-minute initial call. I really want to thank you for attending Small Business Tech Day for Virginia. We've seen great stuff from Mike, great stuff from Adam. I've been able to share all about the new breed of cybercriminal. Please stay tuned for Robert Hershevek coming soon. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day and be safe.
Wow, that was great. I love seeing business owners helping other business owners, and you have got to take them up on what they're offering. If you are at all curious to know if you are at risk or even have a little doubt, this is a no-brainer. At the very least, you will know after the assessment if you're protected from the new breed of cyber criminals, and it's free. After this next quick break, we have a few words from our sponsors, and then it's time for the nice shark, Robert Hershevek. He is a world-famous entrepreneur, a cybersecurity businessman, an investor, and a Shark TV personality. This enthusiastic celebrity has agreed to divulge his shark secrets for vetting opportunities and risks in his own business to make strategic decisions, so come right back.